Well, yes, to be quite honest, everybody had an allegiance to the king and country in those days because, I mean, we were on our own, weren't we?
Yeah.
You know, and that just after the Yanks had come in 41. And everybody had that feeling that they weren't going to bloody beat us anyhow.
Yeah.
Like, really, I mean, I was only a young fella, 19, I think, or something like that. And I wasn't, you know, I was a bit green, wasn't I? You know, you don't dwell on them sort of things. You don't think about it, do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's my attitude to it anyway. I was captured on the midnight on the 21st of September 1944, and we were marched the next day. We were kept into what they call the music serum in Arnhem, which is a big concert hall. And I was sat next to Johnny Frost, who was the commander of the 2nd Battalion in them days. And I was sat next to him. He had a blanket wrapped around his shoulders, and he just said a few words. Like, I mean, he'd pulled all his badges of rank off and all that. That had all gone. He was just like me, you know, just in a Denison smock, and that was it, all a lot. And then we went from there to Stalag 9A at Limburg, which was only just over the border, and there was about 1,000 of us there, and we were in great big marquees with monsoon trenches dug all around it. They were full of water. We had no boots. They took our boots off us, so we were in our stocking feet. And as I said, there was 1,000 of us about, and they turned the water tap on for 10 minutes on the dinner time, once a day. And if you were lucky, you went and got a drink.
Yeah.
But man, he didn't want a drink. He was bloody wet through anyway. He knocked to sleep on just bare grass. And then we were put into cattle wagons and taken to Stalag 4B, which was quite a long journey, and like there was guards on the top of the wagons, so anybody who waved, like, they just shot at them. You know, you waved, they just shot them. And we were in that wagon for about 4 days. And the first place we stopped at was Frankfurt, and it was dark, and we were allowed to get out the train. Well, when you get out the train and you're stocking feet on that ballast on the bloody railway track, I'll tell you it's painful. And all the Germans were stood on the other platform waiting to get a train to wherever they were going. But the German Red Cross was there, and they sent us a bowl of soup. It was only black bread with hot water, but it was like manna from heaven, I'll tell you. And that's we stopped there. Well, when we stopped on the train, we got to 4B. And of course, when there was an air raid, they just shunted us into a side and they cleared off and left us in the wagon.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got over that, and we got to Stalag 4B, and I was there for about a month, and then I got posted to Dresden to work on the tramway repair depot in Tolkevitzer in Dresden. And of course I was there when Dresden was bombed as well. And I mean, I'd quite it wasn't bad in Dresden, except all we got, there was 20 of us in the working commando, and we got 2 loaves of bread between 20 of us, loaves that long, square bread, and they used to cut it every night, and somebody else cut it every night, and somebody said, that bastard got the crust yesterday. And that's all we had. 1 slice of bread a day and a bowl of soup made out of dandelions and grass and all that. That was it.
Yeah.
And I lost 4.5 stone the time I was there.
Yeah.
And after the bombing, everything was chaotic. And on the morning after the bombing, we were all sort of in our billet, which was a disused tramway depot. And an high-ranking Luftwaffe officer came in And he said to the sergeant major who was in charge, he said, I want some men to go down there. He said, all my house is destroyed, everything destroyed. And Chalky White, he started to grin and he just whipped his logo up and stuck it in his Chalky's ribs. And the general sergeant major just went whack, smashed him right across the bloody chops and said, out, I'm in charge of these men.
Yeah.
And I mean, he outracked him about 10 times.
Yeah.
We didn't bloody stop him. And he saved Chalky's life because he just pulled it, logo out and stuck it, set in Chalky's ribs. And Chalky went several shades of green, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And so did everybody else. And then that was it. It went. Then, of course, after that, we were out. The Yanks come on at dinner time and dropping bombs. Most of them dropped in the Elves. We were out digging up water mains and gas mains and Christ knows what at that, and taking bodies out the cellars. Because they were all laid dead in the bunks in the cellars under the houses.
Yeah.
They were all asphyxiated. Except for there was one place I walked past, and there was a woman absolutely stripped naked, her hair was all black like that, laid flat out, dead in the backyard. She'd been blown out with a blast. And we were there for another week or two, and then they said to us, we're going to march you to a line of demarcation. So we set off, and then the first night, we stopped in a barn on a farm, and I clipped a chicken and plucked it inside my Denison smock. The next morning, put it on the all when you're a prisoner of war, you always collect tins and everything that's useful. And so I was cooking this chicken, and the jerry card he said, that smelled good, Herr Ransom. He always called me Herr Ransom. And I said, yeah, but the bugger all for you. So anyhow. So we ate that, and then we were fed up. And I was with two kids out the 2nd Battalion, and we said, we're going. So we walked across the field, and German shouted, come back, I should shout. I said, well, fucking shout then. That's how it was.
Yeah.
And we didn't shout, and we went up, laid up all day, and then on the night, we come down the road, and we got recaptured by the German Home Guard, didn't we? Well, they were all right. They were all old blokes. And they took us and took us to the police station, and they gave us a loaf of bread apiece and gave us a good supper, and took us back next morning. And the jury sergeant major confiscated the bread as punishment. So that was the end of that episode. And then we started to march again, and we were constantly being strafed by Russian fighter bombers, twin-engine fighter bombers, Yaks I think they were, coming down and of course used to scatter. And they come down one day, we were going to a wood, and how the hell they saw, I don't know, but they come down with his bloody machine guns going. And we scattered, the three of us, and we never went back. That was it. I don't know what happened to the rest of them, but three of us, then we walked to Czechoslovakia. We just wooden pieces of wood on our feet with a piece of canvas laid up at the top, just for shoes. And we walked all the way to bloody Czechoslovakia from Dresden. And of course there were quite a few episodes on the road because we had to watch out. I mean, we'd be walking along and there'd be a German platoon come on with a Panzerfaust on the shoulders marching to fight the Russians. Never took any bloody notice of us, did they?
Yeah.
And we had these big red patches on our back and our legs like. Never took any notice of us, they didn't know it was.
Yeah.
And we got into a village one night, and it was full of a German convoy. It was full of Jerrys all walking about. We were walking about the street with them. It was dark and they wouldn't bother us. And I knocked on the door, and this woman said, what do you want? I said, oh, we're British prisoners. Oh, you can't come in here. I said, oh, I'll tell you, go around the back, there's a pigsty around the back with 2 old sows. You can go and sleep in there. So I went and slept with the 2 old sows. Lovely little one, beautiful. Next morning, the Jerrys had gone. And then we sort of went on and on and on, and we got to Czechoslovakia. But when we got there, we didn't know the war had finished. We'd been there about a week, and the Russians were next door. And I went to the Russians one night and got a big tin of meat off them, gave it a big tin of meat. And they had all these big American 6-wheeler GMCs, all these Russians. So anyhow, the same day or the next day, it come through that there was a bread ration down at the village hall or whatever. So the woman said, was with a woman and her husband who had just, as when we knocked on the door, he was wearing his German uniform in the back garden.
Right.
So that didn't bother us. And we all had a Luger apiece by then, we were armed like. And he walks down, there's a German soldier sat bathing his feet in the creek like that, washing his feet. So we sat down and go talk to him. He deserted, he was going home, he'd had enough.
Yeah.
And it foretold all the Cold War. He said, all right, you beat us, but you'll have to, the Russians your problem now. And he told in all detail what was going to happen.
Yeah.
This Jerry. Anyway, he went, and we went back, and as I said, the woman said there's a bread ration down at the village hall. And we got no docket, so I said, I'll go. So I went down, saw the queue, and I got there. I said to the bloke, he said, how many? I said, 5. And there was 5 of us, you see, 3 of us and 2 of them. So he gave me 5 loaves of bread. So I said, how do you know I'm telling the truth? He said, because you're British.
Yeah.
Can't believe it, can you?
No.
They wouldn't tell you that today, would they?
No, they wouldn't, Les.
Fucking wouldn't.
No.
Yeah, you're British. Anyhow, we stopped there for a few more days, and the German tank come through the town. Big panzer come through the town, everybody piled with all people on it. And I shouts, Von Guernsey, where you going? He said, Knackhauser, Creek 4 Bar, the war's over, going home. I said, oh, fucking hell, we better get going. So we went, we got down onto an autobahn, and it was littered like with German convoys that had been shot up. But the Jerry's all hanging out like all blown to bits, and we're going along, and I heard this noise coming up. I thought, I know that sound. And it was the Yankee convoy, the big GMCs with the big buck niggers with the big surrounds on, coming down like, give us a lift, no, nobody stopped. And it got to the last one. A pickup truck it was, and I shouted, give us a lift, and he pulled up and he said, who's yours guys? So I said, POWs, hop in, but he said. So we gets in, and he said, well, we're on a mission, we're always on a mission, the Yanks, they're always on a mission going some bloody where. He said, I'll have to drop you off the next field hospital. So he dropped us off there. Of course, they didn't want to know us, we weren't wounded, we weren't sick, it don't matter, except we were skinny. And there was I saw a C-47 landing in the field. So I ran across there, and by the time I got there, it had gone. But the Yanks had taken this Rome over, it was only grass. And so we stopped in the control tower for about 4 days, living on bloody peanut butter.
Right.
Then another C-47 comes in. And so I go across and I said to the pilot, where are you going, bud? He said, Reims in France. I said, can you? He said, hop in, bud. So we all gets in, got to Reims in France. And of course, that's the end of the story, back in the British Army then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the Sergeant Major got hold of you. Said, where you been?
Okay, don't mention, Sergeant, I was Sergeant Major. If I saw him today, I'd strangle the bastard, I'll tell you. Yeah, I would. I hated him as a big fat cock, like, and I just fucking hate him. Well, a new intake come in one evening, and I'm watching till the wind's out this big house where we billeted at Amesbury in Wiltshire. And he's going along, what's your name, like, and he's talking, gets in there, like, and he gets this kid, and this kid says, Briggs, he said, Briggs. He said, not Wally, is it? He said, yes, yeah, get it changed. Okay, they run back. I could have killed him. So that's my story.